Hey everyone, it is Tanya. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another apartment renovation. Today I am renovating 910 Medina Studios, which is in, oh my goodness, I always forget which district this particular apartment is in, but it's the apartment that Salim Ben Ali is typically in. It's a very small square apartment that needs TLC, and today we are decorating this for an athlete. I had been talking about wanting to do an apartment for an athletic sim for a while, specifically because we were getting the Everyday Clutter Kit, which had a couple more athletic themed items. You can see I placed a bunch of them down here to just have and figure out where I wanted to place them throughout. But when I sat down to do this last week, I ended up deciding to go for a fitness influencer apartment instead because I was really excited about all of the colorful like pastel items we got with the pastel pop kit. So I wanted to come back and revisit this idea and actually create an apartment for an athletic sim who is probably mostly into basketball, but probably dabbles in a few other sports as well. So I hope you will enjoy this apartment. I really like how it comes out. It's a studio apartment, so there's not like a separate bedroom, but it's somewhat separate. You'll see what I mean. It's just not in its own room. If you do like this apartment though and you'd like to download it, it will be available in the Sims 4 gallery. You can find it under my EA ID, which is Gryphi, Gryphi. You can also find it under the hashtag MissGryphi, and that information will also be in the description down below as well. One thing I really enjoyed in this apartment is I used these floors from Get Famous. They're a little bit more worn down, and I also have some exposed brick in here, and I feel like it just gives this apartment a lot of character. Not everything in here is industrial in style, but I did use a few items that lend themselves to that style, particularly the couch from the Industrial Loft kit. I also end up using a light from that kit, and here is that separate bedroom space I had mentioned. It's not technically in a separate room, but by the game standards, it is because it's on a platform. But if you download this, it will not be on a platform because you have to upload rooms in like a weird way, apartments as rooms. But I will have the half walls there on the parts they are currently on, so you can see where that space is supposed to be. Anyway, right now I'm just trying to figure out what pieces of workout equipment I want to have in this house or in this apartment. I do end up having a punching bag and a treadmill. I thought about having a weight machine too, but I didn't end up opting for that in the end. However, I ended up putting a basketball hoop in here, which I think is really fun. I'm going to have to play test it before uploading this to the gallery because there is a couch in the way. You might be able to use it, but I feel like even if it doesn't work, I'm probably going to keep it there because it just looks really cool to have a basketball hoop in your apartment. It's above the bathroom door, so the door you see on screen right now, it'll be up there. And I just thought it was such a fun idea to include in this apartment, so I hope you will like that as well. But right now I'm just trying to clutter up the kitchen, getting a bunch of just like kitchen essentials and just random everyday clutter. I definitely used a lot of the clutter kit in here. I ended up having the phone and keys in the kitchen, as well as that little basket that has some weights and a water bottle and stuff as well. I was thinking it was just like thrown down over there at some point and it just stayed there. I like having things a little bit out of place in my Sims builds because it makes the space look really lived in, and I like doing that. It's quite realistic. So yeah, just getting some spices on these shelves. I only grabbed one cutting board in this build, so I did include a cutting board, but it's not my classic two. For some reason, I just thought it looked nicer that way for this particular build. And then I'm just rearranging some of the stuff on the shelves to make it look a little bit more organically placed. And yeah, I thought about putting the paper towels, but for some reason, they felt really out of place. So I ended up deleting those in the end. And that's pretty much how the kitchen comes out. I'm just going to rearrange a couple more things. And I actually end up putting a laptop on the counter space here as well, so your sim has a place to use the computer. And I kept the middle island counter piece clear so your sims can go ahead and prep food there. That is going to be the only usable counter, but I think it looks so realistic and lived in, having like the clutter throughout. I really wish Sims could still use a counter if it had a little bit of clutter in the corner. I miss when like you could get away with that, but now even with alt placing, most of the time it doesn't work. So oh well on that, but I think it looks fine having that one clear counter, and I was quite happy with it. So over here I'm going to be grabbing a basketball poster, and then I should be grabbing the basketball hoop as well. I also grabbed those football posters. I don't remember if I ended up keeping those in the end. I don't think I do. I was thinking about adding them though. But look at how cool the basketball hoop looks there. I really, really like that. And I also have like a more worn down rug in the living space, which is from the Werewolves pack. I have some brand new shoes that are being opened up out of that box from the clutter kit. I also get a bookcase over here on the other side of the half wall for the bedroom loft space, and a dresser as well. This one is from City Living. I quite like it just because you can see into it and there's like clothing hanging up. Obviously, now we have some custom pieces that you can create and put together with both High School Years and Dream Home Decorator. But I just liked the simplicity of this one. And I also got some trunks over here in the corner. I thought that those would be cute. And maybe they were the trunks that they had all of their stuff in when they moved into this space. I love pieces like that. I have some of my own in our apartment. Oh, and I also added a bike. I love the idea of having a bike in the city to just get around. So I decided to just plop that here in the living room right behind the couch. I also thought about having a runner rug over here, but it just looked so odd. So I didn't end up doing that in the end. However, I did get some carpeting up in the loft space to make it a little bit more cozy and, separate it a little bit, because I often put wood everywhere in my Sims builds, which I think looks nicer, and that's what I would like to have. But I think it's realistic in some places to have carpeting, and I've mentioned this a bunch of times on my channel, but I've only lived places that have wall-to-wall carpeting. Like, I don't have wood floors, and I've always wanted them, and so I feel like I just put that in the Sims all the time, so sometimes it's nice to actually put carpet in the game. We don't have that many nice carpets, but we did just get a really nice shag rug from the Pastel Pop Kit. But I didn't use that in here. I used one of the base game ones in like a grayish color because it made more sense for this space. And then I'm just getting some more like sports clutter over here. We have a basketball on the bedside table and a volleyball and like rackets and stuff on the floor as well. And of course, getting lots of clutter. I rearranged this so many times. I just wasn't liking it. It was feeling like it wasn't cluttered enough. So I ended up swapping out the lamp. So we have a floor lamp instead. I'm going to be getting some books there. So I thought I would just leave it in so you could see the whole process of how long it takes sometimes to figure out how I want to place everything. And I'm just like nudging things ever so slightly until I was happy with it. But I really love how this bedside table came out. The other one's a little bit more simple. I end up having just a lamp, some magazines, a watch, and a clock. The watch is also from the Everyday Clutter Kit. I think it's a cute item, and I think it's kind of funny. This is like the watch table, or the telling the time table, because I have the watch and the clock. I don't know why I thought that was funny, and then I started saying it out loud and it didn't sound funny or interesting at all, but that's how it goes sometimes. Anyway, I did add a little TV over here and a gaming console, as well as a football. And I believe I added some bags on the wall somewhere, which are also from the Everyday Clutter Kit that you can bring. Yeah, right there. I was thinking those could be like shopping bags or like a drawstring backpack or what have you that this sim would bring with them someplace. And then just getting a couple of these workout posters over here by the treadmill. And I wanted to get a coat rack as well. So I used Tool to move the treadmill because it was right next to the platform. So if I moved it without mods, it was snapping up to that level. So I just wanted to nudge it over a little bit to make sure that space would be functional, but allow myself to add that extra piece of clutter as well. And you saw I just added some shoes by the door, and then we're over here. I wanted to make sure to have some sort of side table over in the corner to allow for some more decorations and for this basketball clutter to not look as randomly placed. I also really tried to make sure all of the like needs TLC items were able to be tended to in this apartment. A lot of times I ignore them and just kind of decorate as I want. I'm not sure if all of them are, but I tried my best because I think there's like a smelly spot on the floor that pops up somewhere, but I don't actually know where that one is. But I made sure like the vents in the floor and the pipes and the electric box and stuff are all in spaces that your Sims can actually get to, as well as the mouse holes, I'm pretty sure. So I tried to be as good about that as I possibly could. So hopefully it works out okay and you can still use the gameplay associated with city living in a needs TLC apartment. It can get really annoying, but it's also kind of fun sometimes to deal with actual things like that can happen in apartments or any home you live in. So I tried my best. Hopefully it all works. But we are working on the bathroom now. It's just a shower and toilet and stuff. I don't have a tub in this house, but I wasn't thinking the sim needed one, and I often go for shower tub combo, so I thought it was nice to switch it up a little bit in this space. and I couldn't decide on the color of the toilet for a while. I think I end up staying on this white one from Snowy Escape. And I also really enjoyed scaling up that like linen closet piece over there. I just think it fills in the space a little bit better, and I was quite happy with that. But just getting a couple more decorations in here before we head on into screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed this build. If you did, make sure you give this video a big thumbs up. You can also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click that bell to be notified when I upload. Thank you so very much for watching. Enjoy the screenshots, and I will see y'all soon. Bye, everyone.